Hey everybody, today is, what is the date today? Today is Tuesday, April 14th. Oh boy. So how are you all doing out there? I gotta tell you, I've been sewing all night, sleeping several hours during the day, going back to work. This was really a blessing, a true blessing for me right now. To keep myself busy, because what happened was here's how it all started for me since I've been home in quarantine. I made a couple masks and I posted them, and my local hair clients saw them and said, "Hey, are you selling them? We'd like to buy them." I'm like, "Yeah." So one thing led to another, and then they say, "Hey, we got some friends that want to buy some," and I said, "Oh, okay." So I thought, and they said, "Do you have any more different colors?" Yeah, all this and that. So I thought, well, I better do a little marketing on this then. So I made several others, and I took photos, and people said, "Yeah, I want this one, I want that one," and local people. I had, they came to pick it up, and some of them wanted it shipped. And then I found out that I could have boxes from USPS mailed to me, priority boxes. So I had the priority boxes mailed, and I sent the orders priority. And then I started getting requests on my Facebook page if I would ship out of town. And at first I said no, and that was before I got the boxes from the post office, by the way. I want to backtrack on that one. And I said, "No, I'm not shipping right now." And then I found out, well, maybe I should, maybe I should. If people are willing to pay for this, I might as well start making it. And God knows, I don't know when I'm going to be back to work, but a lot of these people are still working, and a lot of them are retired, and they've got pensions and Social Security checks, and they get the same amount of money every month they have been, so they still have expenses they're purchasing every month. So I thought, okay. So now, oh my God, this is so amazing to me, because now I started looking the other night of all the orders that I've sent out of town in the last week and a half. Actually, it's been 2 weeks now, and it has been Florida, here in Florida. I've shipped to Alabama. I've shipped to Pittsburgh. By the way, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, my home state where I grew up. So hello to all you Keystone people out there. I hope you're staying much safer than the people who aren't doing what they're supposed to do. And then let's see, Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Ohio, Texas. Hello to my friends in Texas. Several to Texas. I've had 3 big orders to Hawaii. Can you believe that? Hawaii. Let's see, where else? California. And this was a surprise to me, because I was just reading and saw a news article where in Utah, these people were not taking it serious up there. And the salons were still open, and people were still going to get nails done. I actually got some orders from Utah. So congratulations to those people who are taking personal responsibility and preparing themselves to survive. Let's see, what else? Oh, God. Arizona. I got one, South Carolina. So amazing. Thank you to all you people, and thank you for being safe and responsible. Thank you for taking responsibility, so when you go out to the grocery store, if you happen to be infected, you're not going to try to infect somebody else. So, because I see a lot of comments out there on posts where there's a bunch of rebellious people that refuse to wear masks. And I had to go to the grocery store a couple times myself since I've been in lockdown, and I see, I got the wrong side, and I see people who are not wearing masks, and even the cashiers, are not wearing masks. Oh, by the way, I just saw a news article today where 30 cashiers at grocery stores have died, and hundreds and thousands more are infected, and that was per the union. And I even said, why aren't these? You guys heard me before. I said, why aren't these grocery store people covering their faces, wearing gloves? What's going on? I even posted on my Facebook last week when I went to the store, and I said, people stocking the shelves do not have face masks on. People cashing out do not have face masks on. There were a few people with face masks. And you want to know what I noticed, though? The people with the face mask on, they were Spanish women. But the white people, they didn't have any on. Now, I don't know if that is a cultural thing, but it's like, I'm wearing my mask and I'm a white guy. So I don't understand why most of these white people don't have them on. Don't understand that. Let's see, what else? Oh man, this is my... Okay, I'm working on a big order here. 2 big orders I'm working on. So again, I really, whether you buy from me or whether you make your own masks, I have to say thank you for being socially responsible and for saving your life and helping to help save someone else's life. Very important. Very important. So, yeah, just want to say that. And besides going to the grocery store, I have not been anywhere else. And when I went to the grocery store, I was bundled up. Oh, I was bundled up as if it was the winter up north. I was like, I wanted to put this force field on me. And the strange thing is, when I was at the one store, this older couple was behind me. And I could feel the wife, the older lady wife, breathing behind me. And I walked forward and I turned and I looked at her, and her husband had his hands on the front of the grocery cart, and she was standing in he was behind the grocery cart and she was standing in front, right behind me. And I said to her, I said, ma'am, could you please stay 6 feet away from me? I said, social distancing is very important right now. And she looked at me kind of weird, like, what are you talking about? Like, and I said to her, aren't you watching the news, ma'am? And the lady that was cashing us out, this was in one of the Walmarts that around me. The cashier actually had a plexiglass in front of her, but she still had no mask on. So that was the first time I saw a plexiglass on any of the cash registers anywhere. I don't know if you guys have seen any yet or not. If you have, comment below. I'm probably going to head to the store. Let's see, what time is it right now? It is 10:35 p.m. I'll be sewing all night, so I'll probably stay up and go to the grocery store early in the morning like I did last time to beat the crowds. And since I'm a senior citizen now, I get to go in at the first hour of that they open. God, I never thought I'd be proud to be 60 years old, but at 60 years old, I get to get into places. It's like when you were 21, you finally get to go out and drink, you finally get into a bar. Let's see, am I going to do any preaching today? I'm sick of that guy in the White House. I'm sick of the way he treats the lady reporters, the male reporters. He gets caught with his pants down every day, and they confront him with the laws and everything. That man doesn't know anything. And I'll tell you what, I'm floored at the Republican Party that still supports this guy, and they're still shitting on the poor people. They still want to shit on the little people. Yeah. So be your own judgment on that. Just follow the news. And you don't have, it's like people say, I don't listen to the news. I don't read the news. You don't have to read anything. Just watch him talk in the videos. All the proof is right there. And it's funny how he lies about everything he says several days later when the proof is in the videos of what he says. And then his supporters are like, no, he didn't say that. Excuse me, it was right in the video. Are you that stupid, or are you that ignorant, that dumb, or are you trying to defend something you never saw? Okay, that's enough preaching. All right, so, oh God, I wish we had someone like Governor Cuomo in the office. I said it before, I'll say it again. Every time I listen to that man speak, my blood pressure goes down. He's just such a good leader. Such a good leader. It's like I use the analogy of being a good parent. There are some people who are good parents. Men will change the diapers on their babies. And other men are horrible parents. They won't even touch a diaper or take time with their child. Cuomo, he just, in my eyes, from what I watch, he's not only a great leader, but he's also probably a good parent. He probably was a good parent. Anyway, so yeah. Let's see what else. It's been so hot. Oh my gosh. my air conditioner has non-stop, and I can just see the electric bill coming. It was so hot here over the weekend, Easter weekend. You'd think it was August. You would think it was August, and the humidity was a killer. I talked to my mother on the phone. She's in Erie, Pennsylvania. And she said, down by the public dock, it's the public dock is, you can look it up in Erie, the public dock. They have restaurants down there and stuff. And she was telling me that the water level has been so high that even Presque Isle has been flooded. And it's been flooded like never before. Not as severe like it is now, because she's lived there her whole life. And she said because of the rising water levels and the high winds of the storms coming in, the restaurants down by the dock there have been flooded. So I said to my mom, I said, you know, Mom, you're pretty savvy when it comes to watching the news and stuff. What do you think the cause of all this is? You know what my mom said? Climate change. She said it's obvious to see. She says the polar ice caps are melting, and where's all that water trickling down to? She goes, we've got the... She says, it's obvious. And I'm like, Mom, man, I knew you were smart your whole life, but wow. I'm blown away for a woman who doesn't have a computer, first of all. She doesn't have a computer. She's got a cell phone. But the knowledge that she has just by reading the newspaper, watching television, reading books. She loves to read books. You know, my mother is over 80 years old now, and I'm just never realized... Well, I shouldn't say this, because when I was growing up, my mother knew. We always went to Mom for everything. Mom always had an answer. But when it comes to what's going on in the country, in the world right now, you know, she's... Wow. So, you know, my mom's that example of people, you know, when you get older, you become wiser. And, yeah. Okay, off to the next machine. Okay, I'm back. Now, so I was talking about my mom, and I remember my mom, you know, my parents worked very hard growing up. I mean, my dad worked like 3 jobs. He had a full-time job, and then he worked 2 part-time jobs. And my mom, she worked full-time. And during our younger years, my paternal grandmother lived with us. So my paternal grandmother was there to babysit us kids while my mother was at work second shift. And I remember when my mother used to come home from work, I used to sneak out of the bedroom because she would sit at that sewing machine and she would mend, and she made these little dresses for this baby Jesus statue. A lot of you Catholic people out there will know what it is, the Infant of Prague statue. So my mother used to watch it, but I used to be so fascinated with the hum of that machine. And, you know, it was that old mechanical machine. And you know what? All these years I thought it was a singer, and I talked to my mom. She goes, no, that wasn't a singer. That was a knockoff from Grant's. She goes, your father and I went down and bought that machine at Grant's after we got married. And I'm like, oh, it was a Grant's. I think I don't know what the brand name back then. What was the brand name? It was Emerson? I don't know. Anyway, F.W. Grant's was the department store, and it was under their brand name. And I said to my mom, all I remember was it was green. She goes, yep, it was. She goes, but then no, that was a Grant's machine. It was a knockoff of a singer. And I'm like, oh, okay. But yeah, it was in an old-fashioned cabinet. And you know, even as a kid, I remember during the day when she had it open, I would sit in front of the machine. And I often wondered why, even as a kid, why the needle position when you sat down, your body was here and the needle was over here. And even back then, I couldn't understand why the needle wasn't in front of your body. I was just a kid, and I thought, this doesn't make sense. You got to lean over this way, then your side of your back hurts. And I thought, well, maybe that's why so many little old ladies walk sideways, is because they have to sew like that. That's what I thought growing up. I'm not kidding you. I thought little old ladies that had sideways walking was because they sat in front of the sewing machine and it was crooked. So I said to my mom, I said, Mom, don't hurt your back. And she goes, I'm not going to hurt my back. So I'm like, okay, but I thought, you know, when you're a kid, you observe and you think about these things, right? And then when I got older, I started realizing that was stupid. So I was talking to someone when I was on the road teaching. I was talking to someone who worked for a sewing machine company, and I said to him, I said, well, why were they designed that way? I don't get it. He goes, well, because men designed it that way. It wasn't a woman that designed it. Because if it was a woman who designed the cabinet, the sewing machine in the cabinet, it would have been designed properly. And then I did some videos on this many years later and showed people and said, you know, people don't have extension tables when they sew, right? You see this extension table here in front of me? You can lay your arms on here, you can lay your fabric on here, won't hang over. And so many people that are supposedly educating people on like YouTube and television are teaching people how to sew, but they don't have an extension table. And then the fabric's hanging over the edge and it's dragging, and they're pushing the fabric like this, or they're doing that old stretch and sew from the Singer years where they're pulling the fabric in the back really hard. And I'm like, oh my God. And so people said, well, how did you learn about the extension table and stuff? I said, well, I watched television my whole life. And I watched Sewing with Nancy. She always had an extension table. And then I found these videos in the back of a magazine. I spoke about this many times before. When I started to sew, I found these videos in the back of the magazine. They were for industrial methods of sewing. So I ordered them. They were by Islander Sewing. And the woman was using a basic mechanical sewing machine. And it was a Viking, an old Viking back then, a home domestic Viking. And she had it recessed into a table, and the table had all this surface around her. And she talked about how to lay your hands down, you know, and how to move and this and that. And I'm like, that makes a lot of sense. And then Nancy was doing the same thing. And then when you watch all these other TV shows and all these other YouTube videos now, and they're not doing it, I think to myself, okay, like, weren't they watching the same videos and TV shows I was? I don't get it. But, you know, people are going to do what they want to do, and if you want to learn the right way, you'll learn the right way. If you don't, you don't. But, you know, we're not perfect by any means. We're all not perfect when we sew. But when you do sew, it's like going back to those years watching my mom and those women from the 50s on those sewing machines where your body was here and the needle's over here, and you have to like sit crooked, and never understood that. And then we look at today with all the advanced technology we have and all the education available, and people still don't pay attention to education. Hell, you're lucky if you get people to read their instruction manuals for their sewing machines anymore. Now if there were no instruction manuals that came through sewing machines, they would bitch that there's no instruction manual even though they don't read it. Yeah, so anyway, what else? Gosh. Trying to think what else. What other topics could I talk about? Okay, so we're all in lockdown, and you know, oh yeah, going back to how I started making these masks for everybody around the whole country was through Facebook. Basically, it started with posting pictures of my work, posting those pictures. Then a couple clients from my hair salon saw it, so I started marketing it. Then when I started getting requests from people asking if I would ship, and at first I wasn't going to ship, and then I realized, well, you know what? This is getting bigger than I imagined it would be, and if people are willing to pay me to make masks for them, yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to take this little business because I'm not working in the salon. I'm not collecting a paycheck. I'm living on my savings account. So I might as well make a little income to help. So thank you to all those people out there who have helped me, and I want to thank you for helping yourselves too, for staying safe. I said this already, I'll repeat it again. You're staying safe, and you're making sure that you are helping to protect other people out there as well. Anything you can do to stay safe, you know, anything. It's important. It's important today. I think that's all I got to chat about right now. Trying to think if there's anything else I wanted to cover with you guys. Oh, so for those who have no interest in sewing, but they're watching my video anyway, listen, there's all kinds of things you can learn. Is there a leaky faucet in your house? Do you need? Is there something that you bought paint for that you haven't painted all these years? Now's a good time to take advantage. Is there a garden that you want to attend to? Excuse me. Is there? God, I haven't burped in years like that. Hiccuped. Is there something you want to do outside? Like after I get caught up in all these masks, I have to do some work around the house. So yeah, it's. Think of this as a positive thing of catching up around the house, doing things, going on the computer and learning something new, taking an online class for something. You know, take advantage. I mean, don't complain about you can't do this, you can't do that, because there's still so much to do. I mean, even for me, even if I wasn't making these masks for people, I would still be busy making my handbags, working around the house. I have some rooms I want to repaint in the house yet. You know, there's a lot I need to do to get caught out myself. So I'm going to feel like one of those retired people that say when you're retired, you still never have enough time. You know, people say, oh, when I'm retired, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Well, pretend that you're retired right now because, you know, you're on lockdown. So pretend you're retired. See how much you get accomplished. Now, here's the difference between being on lockdown and being retired. Most people, when they get old and they're retired, you know what they spend most of their time doing? The average retired person spends most of their time calling insurance companies, fighting insurance companies, waiting 6 hours for an appointment they were supposed to be in 3 hours ago at the doctor's appointment. That was another thing too. It's like if you make a 1 o'clock appointment at the doctor, how come you don't get in until 3:30 or 4? If I did that in the salon, I'd lose clients because my clients' time are very important, and I always try to stay on time. You know, my clients will tell you the most I've ever run behind is about 15 minutes. Maybe there might have been one time where I was really running behind. I let them know, but my client, 90% of my clients are corporate women who their time is very limited, and I make sure that when they come in, that I take care of them. Now I know there are some hairdressers out there that will take 6, 7 people at the same time, and I know because I've gotten their clients because they were upset because of that, because they had to wait, because they had some. I've gotten some of those clients, and they said, we've watched you work before, and we like the fact that you dedicate your time to one client from the very beginning to the end, and you get them in and out, and you do this. And I said, well, you know, I did that before I started going to a doctor's office and realizing how these doctors take advantage of other people's time. And then what happened was I went to this, I had to go to this I have a pinched nerve in my neck. I have carpal tunnel, but that doesn't stop me from working, guys. I fight through it. I fight through it like you wouldn't believe. And I had to go to this neurologist, and they said, we need your credit card. I said, okay. And this credit card's going to stay on file, so for future appointments, if you don't show up, if you don't cancel 24 hours in advance, you will be billed. And then I started talking to a few friends of mine out of town that are hairdressers, and I was telling them. They go, oh yeah, because a couple of my friends are hairdressers in New York City and Los Angeles. And they said, oh yeah, we do that in our salons for people who are notorious for booking and canceling at the last minute and not showing up. Yeah, so that's going to be a little hard to do in a smaller town. And they said, well, you got to think of it this way. How much money does that client cost you by you sitting there with that time you have booked for them? And that's why a lot of hairdressers will book 3, 4, 5 people at the same time. So if somebody doesn't show up or someone calls at the last minute, they won't be stuck there screwed by somebody who didn't respect other people's time. Now everyone has an emergency and everyone has to cancel at the last minute, whatever, but there's people who are notorious for doing that. So it's a catch-22, you know? It's a catch-22. I'm just jumping around on different topics while I'm sewing. All right, so I got this. I got 10 more behind me. I have another 20 I'm going to make in the other room. All right, I got to start sewing a little faster, so I got to stop talking. But I want to keep posted with you guys. And make your comments below. Tell me what you're up to. Take care, everybody. Please stay safe, okay? And whether you buy a mask from me, you make your own mask, or you get it from somebody else, wear it. If you have to go to the grocery store, wear it. Okay? Please, do not be a statistic. Be a survivor. Love you all. Bye.